I am an optimist by nature, thankfully, which
Seriously,
helps
we're we do not have the same
which
personality.
which helps me do this job every day because I just feel that, we are making progress. Not
Well,
enough. I mean, never
also,
enough for the animals, but
y-
but we
y-
are.
I mean, a lot of the issues that Peter works on, and I think this is, I mean, I think this is brilliant. I think this is excellent theory of change. You work on arguments that not going to be easy to win, but are conceivably winnable. Whereas, like, if you set out trying to turn the world vegan, like that's going to be a kind of a hard lift. But it is the food really that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think has been the most discouraging for me. That all the it's so easy, it's so delicious, it's so fine. Like there's just no reason, and people continue to
yeah.
eat animals. So I guess
Well,
that's where I'm coming from with my pessimistic side.
I
But
get it,
I
and
don't want to come off as a pessimist. Hope springs
that's
eternal.
okay. That's okay. I think we balance each other out in this movement, the optimists and the pessimists. So
True.
it kind of works out in the end. But I will say that, one of the most pressing issues in our movement is the promotion of the humane washing of meat, dairy, and eggs. And this has been a real big focus of ours because animal welfare groups are making it more difficult. There are some groups out there now who are promoting, they're pushing companies to go cage free. They never even mention going vegan. So, what does that say to people? It says, oh, I'll just buy cage free eggs then. And literally every store in America now has cage free eggs. I think what people think that means and what that actually means are not the same thing. Cage free does not mean that they are living the good life. They're just in giant cages with tens of thousands of other birds. And they suffer just as much. They may not be confined with 5 or 6 others, but it is horrific. It is not acceptable. And a lot of these groups continue to push cage free as if it is the solution to the problem. It is creating a new problem. And that is that there are millions of people who might otherwise choose vegan who are buying those eggs. And there's the groups that are supporting these standards at Whole Foods and Gap and wherever else, where we've done undercover investigations, where we get whistleblower calls about horrific abuse. And some of these brands, like Farmer Focus, are still have the Gap, the Global Animal Partnership Humane label on their
Right.
website, on their products. They're still being sold. And yet animal groups are on the board and supporting this. And I think we need a reckoning in our movement on this issue. We need to all get together and we need to decide enough is enough. These companies need to stop using these labels to get consumers to continue to buy their products because nobody is benefiting except the meat industry here. The animals are still suffering just as much. And so I feel like this is one of our biggest challenges, honestly. I think if we all pooled our resources and promoted vegan, we would be much further along. More animals would not be raised in this industry, and we would be seeing much more of the vegan products coming to market. We're already seeing an explosion. I mean, I think people, their algorithm shows them that the vegan market is not doing well. That is not true. We see online what we want to see or what they think we want to see. And the fact of the matter is just because a vegan restaurant closes or a vegan meat goes out of business does not mean that the industry is not continuing to explode. It just means that one didn't make it or that restaurant struggled for whatever reason. And so I think we need more optimism in that regard, and we need less of the promotion of these cruel industries by everyone.
Yeah, I mean, of course, this is an issue that has torn the movement apart since as long as I can remember. People have different positions on it,
Yeah.
and I think that you put your finger on the really important point. There may be people who want to fight for welfare reforms because they're tortured by the suffering and they want to
Hmm.
do something. And but there should it should always be clear that that you can never make it humane.
Yeah.
You can only make it less inhumane. And
Yeah.
I think that messaging and never putting forward the idea that now it's okay. That I think that's a really crucial point to at least bring these two points of view together. Which, like I said, I mean, I like your idea that all the groups have to come together, but come on, Tracy, Like, have
Well,
you met
I think
anybody in this movement?
I know. I mean, I know them all, and I
Well,
want
people have
that.
different opinions. I mean, people have
I
different
want that.
opinions. They have
Yeah. I
different
mean,
opinions about the way forward, and a
yeah,
lot of it is sincere. I mean, they
yeah.
sincerely believe this is the way forward, and somebody else believes. But I think never being deceptive about it is absolutely crucial.
To your point, though, I think the groups, some of the groups are not promoting vegan alongside their cage-free
Right. That's what I'm
campaigns,
talking
but
about.
they're
Yeah.
not. But they're not saying. Some are, but some aren't saying buy cage-free eggs. But that is what happens as a result of it. If somebody sees a group saying, push this company to go cage-free. Oh, this company went cage-free, and there's no vegan messaging. That says to the
Yeah, no,
person,
I agree that that's
yeah,
problematic. Yeah.
and that and people don't know or realize that PETA was very involved in the welfare, pushing welfare back in the early 90s. We started that after the McLibel trial, going way back. When McDonald's was found culpably responsible for cruelty to animals, and we went to McDonald's and we had the cruelty campaign to get them to stop debeaking and breeding birds that would grow too large too fast. And they made some concessions, which I don't think they ultimately kept, but they acknowledged for the first time that animals suffered for their products. So that was important. But we also were part of the Global Animal Partnership, Humane, the standards when it was first created as well.
Oh, I don't even
And
remember that. I didn't know you were part of that at the beginning.
because we didn't think it would be a marketing ploy. We thought, okay, there are some things they can do to actually reduce suffering.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
That's the key.
And then, but at some point, it became their whole marketing scheme.
Yeah.
And that was what we got out. We said, we're done. This is not what we signed up for.
Yeah.
What you're actually doing to help animals is not effective. We're done. And and then another organization also pulled out several years later because of the same concerns, and that's why we continue to push the groups to stop being on the board. They say, "Oh, if we're not on, we don't have a voice if we're not here." Yes, you do. We do. We all have a voice. We don't have to be in bed with them in order to get them to do what it's the public wants it, not because you're sitting there on the board. So there's much we can do. Anyway, I'm obviously passionate about this issue.
Right.
You could spend the whole 45 minutes on it.
Yeah, well, let's not do that.
Yes.
We have a lot of other things to talk about.
Yes.
One of the things I really wanted to talk about, I mean, PETA has always been at the forefront of the fight for cruelty-free cosmetics. I mean, that's something that PETA is really known for. All of a sudden, every single woman, I guess there's a few men who wear cosmetics, but almost all women, like they're all into cruelty free. It's everywhere. Like it just seems to have all of a sudden won. Is that fight basically won? Is there work left to do? And how do you put together the fact that people are so passionate about cruelty free who aren't vegan yet?
I think it's an easy thing. I mean, this is what it comes down to with everything. I think a lot of people support our work to end, the animals in circuses or animals in entertainment, because it doesn't take anything for them to do that. Changing your diet is hard, and no one wants to really do that. They like their meat or dairy or whatever. And I think, cruelty-free products, it's easy to just choose the one that's cruelty-free, although most of them are now. I think in terms of the individual, the campaign is basically done. I mean, we still are battling in the EU and in China, where some of these tests are required, and we're working behind the scenes and in public to stop those requirements. But it's like I go to the store and I want to buy individuals to travel with, and I pick up the Dove's shampoo and our logos on it, and it's just it's such a joy to do that. So, that is one of those issues. It's an introductory issue. It's a wonderful thing that people can know that they can buy products that don't, that aren't tested on animals and continue on with their life. It introduces them to the issue.
Two of your biggest issues have been fur and cruelty-free cosmetics. Yeah. And both of them are, as you say, relatively easy. You don't have to change your whole life. It's not like going vegan, which is also relatively easy, but
exactly. It's easy now. I mean, think about when we went vegan. That was hard.
I know. But do you think that it is because you focused on those issues or because they were the easy ones? And is it always a balance between focusing on the easy issues that can get a lot of attention and then doing that more fundamental work of getting people to see the big picture? We're talking about all the animals here.
It's funny because I think about when I first started at PETA and how those were the two biggest issues. And it amazes me now to think that. I can't believe that anyone ever thought it was okay to wear a fur coat, you know? And so I think because it was everywhere, it made sense, especially because we had this incredible footage of the suffering of animals and had done a number of investigations of animals being skinned alive or animals being, electrocuted anally or whatever.